How many have you forgiven today? Chapter 28, Part 2. Anon can only stand there questioning, as Spike slowly looks up at him. What he sees actually disturbs him a bit. Spike is looking at him with one of the most deadest looks he's ever seen. A 1,000-yard stare that even looks past Anon. Anon doesn't know much about Spike, but he does know that he's never this depressed about anything. So something must have happened. Anon kneels down to face Spike. You alright?
No, I'm not.
Spike responds in a dead tone.
Luna told me everything. How could everyone do that? I thought they were good ponies, but no one told me anything.
Luna told him what happened in Ponyville? Damn it, Luna. Anon knows exactly why she did it. In many ways, it's a thought he shared with her from time to time, but one he never acted on. The reason he never did something like this is because Spike wasn't involved in what happened. In many ways, he's like Pinky, a bystander caught in the crossfire. However, Pinky isn't like Spike. She's a grown mare, but Spike is still a kid. He knows why she did it, and yet that doesn't make this right. It honestly has him a bit pissed off. Spike, listen to me closely. Anon shakes Spike some to grab his attention. What happened is none of your concern.
You're just like them. You think I'm a baby too.
Spike tries to push Anon away, but Anon holds him in place. Anon needs to get control of this situation. He can't help Spike if he's acting like this. If he's so concerned with being treated like a child, then perhaps that's an angle he can work from. Well, Spike, you're acting like a baby right now. So how about you calm down and act like an adult? What Anon says seems to resonate with Spike. It takes a moment, but Spike calms down enough for Anon to let him go. There's a lot that needs to be said, but Anon feels that it'll be best to let Spike take the wheel here. So Anon gets up, walks over to a wall, and takes a seat. He has no idea how long this will take, but he owes it to the little guy to lend him an ear. So, what's the problem?
Everything.
Spike answers. Gotta give me a bit more than that. Spike twiddles his claws a bit before looking up at Anon.
Is it true? What Luna told me?
Anon lets out a long sigh. Yeah, Spike. It's true. Hearing Anon confirm this causes Spike to wince in pain.
So it's true.
Not that Spike thought Luna was lying, but hearing it come straight from Anon makes it real for him. Anon hates this. Seeing Spike hurt over what happened is painful in a way. He doesn't want to see him suffering over something he had no control over. All Anon can do is try and comfort him the best he can.
Why didn't any pony tell me?
Anon isn't sure how to answer that question. He takes a few moments to gather his thoughts. Well, there's only one reason he could think of. Spike, there's a saying on my world. Ignorance is bliss. Do you know what it means? Spike shakes his head, confused. It means that you can be happy if you choose to not know the truth.
Why would any pony do that?
Because the truth hurts. Once you know the truth, there's no going back. Some have tried to ignore it, and maybe it worked for a little while. But eventually, it comes back.
So you're saying that I'll never be happy?
No, Spike, the truth hurts, but it also helps you learn. You become a better person, and find other ways to make yourself happy. Anon has no idea if what he's saying is working, but he hopes it is. Whether you like it or not, Spike, you're a kid. You should be blissfully ignorant of everything that's happening, enjoying whatever life throws at you. You'll have more than enough time to be an adult later, so don't waste your youth on things that don't concern you. Spike doesn't know what to think right now. The way Anon is speaking to him is in a way he's never heard from any pony before. It's almost shocking for Spike to be talked to so directly, and with honesty. He actually feels as if Anon is treating him like he's an adult.
Why are you telling me all this? Why treat me like an adult?
Spike asks. Anon lets out a sigh. This issue you've been put in, it never should have happened to begin with. I'm sorry for that, Spike. That's why I'm not treating you like a child, because you've been hurt like an adult. Anon can only sit there and look at Spike as his mouth moves up and down, lost on what he could possibly say in return. Yet, as it all sinks in, Spike covers his face as he starts to cry to himself. Anon grits his teeth in anger, not at Spike, but the fact that he got dragged into this. He gets up and walks over to Spike, kneels down, and hugs him. Spike holds on to Anon as he continues to cry in such a way that Anon can actually feel his pain. The crying of a child. Anon doesn't know how long he was there holding Spike, but eventually he cried himself to sleep in his arms. What am I gonna do now? Well, there is only one thing he can do. Anon picks up Spike and starts walking towards Twilight's room. Twilight hears someone enter into her room. She has no idea who it could be, as she doesn't recognize the walking pattern that approached the door. Still, she can't find the strength to move as she remains motionless. The sound stopped as soon as the door opened, and the moonlight from the hall cast onto Twilight. She can't even see a shadow, but she can hear whoever is there breathing. After what feels like forever, she hears whoever is there enter into the room. A shadow walks past her and towards her bed. The figure is obscured in darkness, but she knows who it is. It's Anon. There's only one creature that walks on two legs and stands as tall as he does.
What reason does he have to be here and also go to my bed?
Twilight can only watch as he sets something down onto her bed and turns away to face her, but she can't see his face due to the lack of lighting. Her eyes drift over to what he placed down, and she notices Spike's sleeping form. It seems that at some point Spike ran into Anon and probably passed out. She would thank him if it weren't for the fact that she's stuck in place. Not only that, but she doesn't really feel anything right now, so she's not even sure if she's grateful for what he's done. Anon doesn't say anything, as he walks past her again and out of sight. Twilight blinks slowly from the shock of light to her eyes, but finds the room is now illuminated. He must have turned on a light for some reason. She questioned why, but she finds no interest in that. He hasn't returned to some place she can see him, but instead she hears him continue to walk towards the door as the sound of it shutting comes to her ears. He's gone, and Twilight for some reason feels a crushing sense of loneliness now. She doesn't want to be alone. Before her thoughts spiral out of control, she takes notice of quick footsteps coming from behind her. With a few strides, Anon is standing directly in front of her. He even kneels down, so they're eye to eye. You know, feeling things can be scary, but feeling nothing is almost like being stuck in a nightmare. It disconnects you from the world you know, and everything becomes gray. Anon says in a neutral tone. Twilight felt something when Anon spoke. She's still trapped in the maze, but for a brief moment she felt as if she knew the way out. Anon can only sit there and look into Twilight's eyes. They're rather dead-looking, but there's a glimmer of some kind still there. Every fiber of his being wants him to leave this room, to let her suffer. But he can't do that. If he does, this will not only hurt Luna, but Celestia too. He hates this, but he has to help her. What you feel gives things meaning. Without it, nothing has meaning. That's why you think you're alone. Anon continues to draw Twilight out. You couldn't be further from the truth. You have your family and friends. They mean something to you, even if you don't feel it right now. They still acknowledge you after what happened in Ponyville. And that should mean a lot. Anon scoffs. Even that Cadence pony cares about you. The looming walls that hung over Twilight are no longer as high as she once thought. Not only that, but she's starting to notice the cracks on the walls.
I'm not alone.
You still have ponies that believe in you, wholeheartedly. Celestia blames herself for what happened in Ponyville, not you. She feels as if she's failed you as your teacher. That's why you're here, and why she's trying so hard to teach you.
Is that true?
It's subtle, but Twilight can feel her eyes starting to water as a bit of pain seeps into her heart. Why is Anon doing this? Why is he helping her? Anon lets out a sigh. Given enough time, ponies will forget what happened, and everything will return back to normal. Anon can clearly see her eyes starting to waver as they glisten a bit. A small collection of tears building as she looks directly at him. He thinks it's time he said his piece. Not only for his sake, but Twilight's as well. It's time for her to stop living this lie of forgiveness she's been obsessing over. Twilight, I think you know as well as I that you will never gain my forgiveness. Twilight clenches her eyes shut as tears now fall down her cheek. What you did to me can't be forgiven. I still have nightmares about what happened. Anon clenches his fist some in anger. I even have a hard time letting Celestia hold me without my skin crawling. He takes in a large sigh and lets it out. To be honest, I doubt I'll ever get over what you did to me. It's something I'll relive until the day I die. Something I'm sure we'll be taking to our graves.
No.
She doesn't want to remember it, but she knows what he's talking about. A few tests she's buried in the back of her mind. The walls that trap her mind have now become corrosive, the tops lined with metal spikes. I hate you. I hate you so deeply that it actually hurts. She knows that. She hates herself. Just looking in the mirror is enough to make her sick. She's disgusting and irredeemable. Anon stops for a moment to take in what's happening to Twilight. She's trembling uncontrollably as tears flow freely down her cheek. The floor below her has collected a small puddle. Well, time to get this over with. Thank you, Twilight, Anon says, honestly. Twilight's eyes open wide as she flinches some.
What did he just say?
The walls that surrounded her crumble to the floor, the entire maze gone.
What?
Twilight feels herself ask. I said thank you. Anon gives her a small smile. The fact is, Twilight, you're the reason I even have the friends I have. If everything in Ponyville didn't happen, then I never would have locked myself away. Celestia wouldn't have come to visit, and I never would have made all the friends I have today. He lets out a sigh. I'm happy with the friends I have now, and I wouldn't change anything if it meant that they would go away.
Even if it meant going through what happened again?
Twilight asks, still shocked. Of course. Anon feels remarkably relaxed right now. It's odd in a way. It's like he's talking to any other pony in this moment.
How?
Twilight turns away from him.
How could you bear to suffering something like that again?
It's sudden, and enough to make Twilight whip her head back towards Anon. For Twilight, time has stopped. She can't look away from Anon as he holds something between his fingers. It's the ring. The magic dampening ring that was on her horn. Because I've found two lonely ponies that need a friend like me. Anon points to the ring in his hand. Mind if I keep this? It takes all of Twilight's willpower to respond.
I don't mind.
Anon puts the ring into his pocket as he starts to walk towards the exit to Twilight's room.
Why?
Anon stops before exiting.
Why? After all this time?
She asks. Anon chuckles a bit. Why indeed? Anon doesn't say anything else as he leaves. He'd better hurry back to the sisters before they come looking for him. Twilight is left in her room, unsure how to process what just happened. Her heart is numb, but no longer empty. She turns back to look at Spike as he sleeps soundly. She walks over and watches him as he sleeps. She doesn't understand Anon, not even in the slightest bit. But this is what she does know. She will try her hardest to become a better pony. Once she does, she will not ask for his forgiveness, but instead his friendship. Twilight climbs into bed and holds onto Spike. First, She has to have a long talk with Spike in the morning. Then the rest will come in time. Just one more chapter left and then we move on to the sequel. Time really flies by. Anyways, let's get on to our Swift donators. Top donators are 630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, IronSky, and Jessie Smith. Darkside, Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel, Austin, Rolan, Stu, Hex, Sword, Brother, Mortar, Domicon, Lyra, Runeslife, 9852, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Ride, Soul, Shadow Moon, Luigi, 88, Chancellor Crust, Big Smoke, 369, Bobcat, GGF, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.